Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! Not my story, but my father's. Took place in the early 2000s. He's a master mechanic who can literally work on any car, foreign or domestic. He's teaching me right now, and it's an honor to learn from him. He's always run his own independent repair shop almost as long as I can remember, and he told me this story recently that just seems perfect for this sub. So this guy comes in with a pretty nice Chrysler convertible to get his transmission fixed. He had to remove the transmission dismissible and rebuild it. Pretty long process, but it's no problem. After a day's work, he calls a customer up, says his car is ready, and reminds him of the agreed-upon price of about $1,200. The guy said he could only pay $600 then, and he'd have to get back to him on the rest. Now, this isn't out of the ordinary. Where we live, most people aren't exactly wealthy, and my dad is a nice guy. He single-handedly supported 4 kids and a wife, so we weren't exactly rich. It's uncommon for people to pay in installments. He doesn't charge interest or fees or anything. Just try to do what's right. The guy pays half his bill, and with the promise of paying the remaining amount in a few weeks, he leaves with his car. About 2 months pass, however, and the guy hasn't paid. Hadn't even contacted my dad about any issues, or to say something like he lost his job or something like that. So my dad calls him up and asks when he thinks he'll be able to pay the rest of the bill. And I kid you not, this is how the conversation went. Hey, this is placeholder X. I was wondering when you'll be able to pay the rest of your bill.
Oh yeah, about that. I'm not paying for it.
Dad, surprised? What? Is something wrong with the car? If something went wrong, I'll take care of it.
No, the car runs great. I'm just not gonna pay you.
What? Why?
Well, I have the car now, so I don't see any reason to pay you.
They went back and forth a bit before my dad realized it was pointless and decided to enact some sweet revenge. He calls up a local towing company and gives them the guy's address, license plate, and car description and tells him to tow the vehicle to the county recycling center. He then calls up the recycling center and says, "Hey, you're gonna be getting a Chrysler convertible, license plate X from Z Towing. When it gets there, I want you guys to crush and recycle it." And so, they do. Car was crushed and recycled. The next day, the guy shows up to my dad's business furious, and with the state patrol. My dad explains the entire story, and the cops tell the guy that technically the vehicle was moved, not stolen. The recycling center received recyclable goods, and not stolen property. And now the car no longer exists, and it's been recycled, and thus was not a criminal matter, but a civil one. So the guy sues my dad, and once again my dad explains the entire story. And amazingly, the judge says the same thing as the troopers, and dismissed. It sounds almost unbelievable, I know, but it just seems so illegal. But if a judge rules in his favor, it's gotta have some merit by a technicality or something. Granted, this was maybe 15 years ago, so the laws could have changed since. But damn it, the guy gets his car crushed simply because he chose not to pay the remaining repair bill and wanted to take advantage of someone's kindness. For context, I work at a theme park which is opening a new attraction area at the end of May. Employees and family get to experience prior to the public opening. This was the day I went with my mom. My husband and kid were meeting us later. My mom and I are in line to her favorite ride, and we were telling each other how excited we were to experience the new area of the park. For context, the tickets give you a few hours exploring this area at a designated time, but you can enjoy the park earlier in the day. Well, an entitled mom and her demonic brat hear us. And it all starts with the entitled kid asking me,
"You're getting into the new area?"
Yes?
"I want to go, mommy."
He repeats this mantra several times in a high-pitched voice, dripping with entitlement. Kid looked to be like 10. I say it's only for the employees for now.
"You will take my baby to the new attraction. That is final."
His entitled mother orders me. Mom tells her, "Ma'am, it's for employees and their families only. Please leave us alone."
How dare you use that tone with me, you old hag?
Another kid gets into full tantrum mode.
Make them take me, mommy. I want to go to the new attraction.
I tell her, "Do not talk to my mother like that." And she gets in full Karen mode.
You will do as I say, or I will complain about the way you are treating us to your manager.
"You don't know my name or where I work. Leave us alone, witch."
How rude you are. Your mother raised a jerk.
Mom tells her, "I have had enough of your rudeness." At this point, we try to just leave the line. My purse was attached to my left shoulder, resting at my right hip. This Karen grabs my purse and tries to snag it away. I literally am stopped by the entitled Karen and I demand she let go. She started the tug of war with my purse as she yells and screams for me to give her the tickets for the new attraction. Someone then calls an employee over from the line. "What's going on here?" The employee asks.
This witch stole my purse and my tickets for my son and I to see the new attraction.
"That's not true. She's trying to steal my purse." I say.
I want to go to the new attraction, mommy. Make them take me.
Then my mom says my daughter is telling the truth.
Give me my purse.
Alright, we called security and they will deal with this. The employee says, "Because of that witch, we were taken to an area so that they can get information." It was not just a security officer, but law enforcement dealing with this issue. Karen does not seem so confident now, but she still keeps demanding my purse. The security took my purse and her brat just kept whining and crying, demanding to go to the new attraction. We are in a small room and the cop opens the purse. I thankfully had my ID for work and my driver's license in my purse. I also opened my pen on my cell phone and showed him my reservation for this new attraction, which proved the purse and tickets were mine. Karen goes ballistic and tries to attack me while screaming like a rabbit-filled animal. The cop reached over and grabbed her shirt, trying to stop her, and her shirt tripped a little. She has an epic meltdown and we all stare at her in disbelief.
Assault! Harassment! These people want to assault me! Help!
The cop tells her, "Calm down, ma'am. Nobody is trying to assault you here. Nobody is trying to hurt you."
You want to assault me?
The cop says, "Everybody beside this lady, please leave." Security pulled the crying kid out while I picked up my things from the table and left. My mom and I are sent into another room to write a report and to be questioned. I was also interviewed by security about my role in this. If I had any responsibility, it took 2 hours to do the paperwork and interviews. And for Karen, she had a meltdown like a 2-year-old. She had to be tased several times. She was arrested and banished from the park. Finally, the kid was taken to a nearby police station with his crazy mom. The following day, I worked and security was checking IDs for employees and told me about what happened. Anyways, we ended up being late for our time at the new attraction. We lost 15 minutes thanks to that psycho lady. I have never experienced anything like someone so mental. Her kid acted 3 instead of 10. It was insane. We had fun though, but it was really terrifying that people like this Karen existed. She was also charged with assault on an officer, attempted theft and some other things. I would rather forget this. This happened a few days ago and I'm still shocked a grown woman can feel so entitled. I'm 25 male. To start off this tale of pittiness coupled with that sweet revenge, I will give you background as to why this outcome perplexed and enraged at the same time. I have lived on my own for a while now and therefore have furnished the houses I live in. That means bathrooms, living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, cleaning supplies and so on. When I moved into this new abode, I was no longer renting the entire house, just the master bedroom and the garage. The other rooms are rented by college students, ages 18, 34 and 63. I know, 63? Anyways, when I moved in, I asked the landlord about furnishing the house, and the reply was he would love for me to do that, and then other tenants can use my dishes and cookware and silverware.
Pretty nice gesture to make for pro college students, right? Well, down the road, this assumption will be wrong. It has been 3 months with the kitchen and house fully stocked with room to spare for storage and shelf space. Suddenly, a rep from the housing company shows up and says she's there to help us organize and schedule cleaning. Okay, thanks, new random mom. Note: I have been saying every month to the other tenants, if you want to put something in the kitchen or other places in the house, just tell me and we can move stuff around. Apparently this was too difficult because now this lady is here putting labels with everyone's names on the shelves and drawers via the complaints of the other tenants. Everyone now has one cabinet and one drawer in this kitchen, and the space used is completely horrid. Instead of being able to use all of the space in a cabinet for plates, there are now 2 plates on a shelf in each cabinet, because everyone needs their own space. Also, there was plenty of empty cabinet and drawer space already. 4 weeks unused.
Don't let the plates touch, they have cooties.
Now I have to remove all of the shared cookware, bowls, plates, cleaning supplies, silverware, cups and so on, because they belong to me and I have no space for pantry food and all of that stuff in one cabinet. Onto the pity revenge side. Rubbing heads together with a devious, if I dare say, dastardly smile. Well, since you children needed to have your space defined and labeled, and you seem to take for granted the fully stocked kitchen and household I have provided, let us now see how you like to have none of those things. The anticipation was almost too much to bear. Joined by the rage inside, it was almost as good as some types of drugs. So I used to work third shift at a carpet warehouse in northwest Georgia. This area is known as the carpet capital of the world. I worked as a lift truck driver at a distribution center. Our main job was to receive rolls of carpet from the manufacturing side, cut them down to order lengths and ship them back out or put them back in the warehouse. The company had an expected production rate of 350 rolls counted over the course of a night. As long as you met production, there was no issue. If you worked at a consistent rate without overloading and had no issues, you could make around 400 to 425 rolls. Occasionally, you did have issues actually finding the particular order in a warehouse with 1,000 of carpet rolls. The company system had a computer system that told you what roll to get next and where to take it. If you happened to not scan a roll within 15 minutes, it would send an alert to the supervisors, who would then get on a golf cart to go looking for you. On to the story. I was consistently pulling 400 plus rolls per night as I would take short breaks as I was never hungry and would get sleepy. After about a year of this, 10 minutes before break, I was having trouble finding a roll. As soon as the break hit, I stopped looking and went to break. This would easily take about 10 minutes just to get there. Once break was done, I was back to looking for my roll. By this point, I had another 10 minutes to find it. This was added to the 10 minutes before break that I could find it. By the time I was pulling my roll out of the bin, the manager had shown up in his golf cart. He just gave me a death stare and took off. By the time I took it to the central location, my boss was waiting there with a write-up in hand. He asked me to get off my lift truck and followed him to the office. He told me that this was because I took more than 15 minutes to pull a roll and didn't skip it. This was a slap in the face as far as I was concerned. From that point on, I never ever did more than a few more rolls than a required production rate. I would carry a clipboard and count my tally for the night. About a month or so of my not exceeding my production, I got called up to the office one night and this is how the conversation went. "Hey boss, what's up?"
Come in, take a seat.
"I'm fine standing, what's up?"
Come on in and take a seat.
"Is something going on? I need to get back to getting my night's production."
Well, don't worry about that. We won't count the day against you.
"Okay, what's up?"
Is everything okay? Are you doing alright at home?
Me, visually confused. "I'm fine. What is this about?"
I'm not just a boss, we are a family. And it's my responsibility as a boss to make sure that everyone is okay. The The reason I called you up is because you have had a sudden drop in production about a month ago, and we were wondering if you had some family issues going on.
Nope. My production is where the company expects it to be.
I'm not saying that it's not. You were one of the few employees that could get 400 plus rolls a night, and now you are barely getting production.
But it's 350, right?
Yeah, you are meeting production, but you could do 400 plus rolls a night, and as a team, your additional rolls would help out your other team members who were struggling.
Wait, you were using my roll count to go towards someone else? Why was I never given part of their paycheck?
That's how this goes. We are a team, and we have a collective production rate that is a team requirement.
I give an internal sigh at this nonsense.
We have some teammates who have slower equipment or have trouble with hand-eye coordination, and your additional rolls would help them with their roll count go towards the collective department production rate.
Okay, so what do you want me to do about it? As far as I'm concerned, the company requires 350, and that is what I'm doing, right?
Can you tell me why is it that you dropped all of a sudden?
Fine, let me take a seat. I pulled my wallet and started to pull out the signed write-up that he gave me a month ago. I slid it over to him. My plan was coming to fruition, as I somehow felt that this moment would come somehow.
What's this?
This is a write-up that you gave me a month ago. Do you remember? I had already met my 350 production requirement and took another 10 to 12 minutes after break. That night, I already had my 350 rolls. Do you remember? I was met with a surprised Pikachu face. After you wrote me up that night, when I already had more than my expected production, why would I ever want to give you more than I have to? Do you really not remember this? It's a good thing that I held on to this, huh? After about 10 minutes of silence, well, that be it. Can I go back to doing my work now?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
And yeah, that was it. He never opened his mouth with me after this. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.